And it goes on. Welcome back to Big Silly Goose Gaming, and today I kind of want to talk to you guys about some potential Generation 10 Pokemon leaks. I saw this like a little while ago. I don't remember where exactly. I think it was maybe Twitter. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I have no idea if this is real or not. It's just somebody was coming up with the idea. I don't know. I can't, really confirm or deny my source. So let's just go ahead and say that this is all rumored, okay? But apparently, the new Pokemon Generation 10 games are going to be called Pokemon Gale, and Pokemon Tides. Pokemon Gales and Pokemon Tides, something like that. And what it essentially is I think it's going to be based on the Mykonos Islands, or like the Greek Islands or something like that. That's my basic assumption. I have no idea if that's really what it is. It could be based on other islands or like something tropical-esque. You know what I mean? But anyways, it's going to be based on islands. And so there's going to be about like 16 main islands with like over 100 other smaller islands that just like maybe have different Pokemon on them or do whatever. So maybe it's going to be like the 16 main ones are the main story, and then the other 100 could be like post-game or whatever. Oh, snap. So, it could be something like that, nothing definitive. But, I do kind of like the idea of having like that double, like I like having the option of having a lot more, if that makes sense. But anyways, so it's going to be called Pokemon Gales, Pokemon Tides, and one is going to be based on like wind, and the other one's going to be based on water. Now, I think that they're going to both have the same kind of like you know how like each one has their own like legendary Pokemon or whatnot? Like Pokemon Black and White had Reshiram and Zekrom. So this one I think is going to have its own like one singular Pokemon that's going to be like the legendary, Pokemon or whatnot. And so, because of that, I think they're going to do something to it where it's going to change typings. There's like a new gimmick called I don't remember the exact name of it. But it's supposed to be something, I think, really cool. So it's supposed to be... Dude, Rillaboom's just like right there. Okay, anyways. Yeah, they each get like their own evolution or whatnot, if that makes sense. So one's gonna have one of them's gonna be a flying type, and the other one's gonna be a water type or something like that. Now for starters, there's going to be a water octopus, a fire goat, and I think like a I don't know. I think the last one's like it's a grass snail. It's gonna be a grass snail type, and I'm kind of excited for that. I think that's a pretty interesting combo. I think the goat one is called like Emba, like Emba. I thought that was funny. That's supposedly what it's called. It could also be any number of things. There is a water octopus one that is like called Octopops or Octa something. So that's gonna be what that is. And then the last one, the grass snail, I forgot what that one's called, but I think that there's a great potential for it, what else is there? I want to say that well, there is going to be a new gimmick, and there's going to be a way to, like, transform Pokemon types, like, completely after exposing it to that so many times. So, you know how, like, in, obviously, Scarlet and Violet, you can terrestrialize them and they gain a new typing, right? And only through terrestrialization. But for this new one, it's like you're going to be able to do it a certain number of times, and then they'll fully transform into that type. So if I have like, let's say my Rillaboom here, and I want it to be like a fighting type, I just give it the coin or the token or whatever I need, and it'll do the gimmick and whatnot. And after I do it, like let's say 6 times or 5 times, it'll fully transform into a fighting type, is the basic idea of it. And so, trying to think what else is there. I think that there was... I think there's like rumors that they're gonna be doing like a heavy focus on Kanto Pokemon, like giving them like a primary focus in the game. I'm not 100% sure, but the way that it works is there are 16 islands, I guess, and you go to each island and you face like a totem Pokemon, kind of like Pokemon Sun and Moon, and you have to face them, and there's no gym battles like in the other regions or whatnot, so you're just gonna have to face them and fight them, and it's probably gonna be like a different type of Pokemon each go around. So I think that's pretty exciting. I think that's a really ambitious game. I have no idea if Pokemon's gonna be able to like pull it off completely. There's like supposedly over 100 islands, so I think that's a bit crazy. That's a bit out there, but I mean they could do it. And then obviously there's gonna be some new Pokemon. I don't remember what they described them as because they didn't have like pictures of them, but the description I think of one of them was like a kind of like a water rabbit of some kind. Like it says water hare, H-A-R-E, so a rabbit, a bunny of some kind. So a water bunny, that could be exciting. I think that's really exciting. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's just what it's rumored to be. You know, no definitive like, oh yes, this is exactly what they're working on. This is what's going to be. But there was just some like leaks of it. That's what it potentially could be. Now, is it 100% accurate? No. There are some like kind of debunking on like the titles because like they showed Pokemon Tides, Pokemon Gale, or whatever, and the way that they framed like the lettering or like the style of the title of it just doesn't look right. So people have kind of like, it doesn't feel like that's the official title because it doesn't look right or whatever. But it could just be somebody else like redrew it or did it in a different way. Nothing concrete, nothing full 100% proof. But as of right now in 2025, we're mainly focusing on Pokemon Legends ZA. I wouldn't put too much stock into Generation 10 just yet, like officially having released or having like anything official come out in like a few days time or any time this year at all. So we're gonna have to wait until maybe the next Pokemon Direct or another day when they could essentially like talk about different things like that. So until then, we'll have to see if any of what they basically said is or can be what's it called? Kind of be corroborated or told us if it's true or not. But until then. But so far, I think that's a pretty exciting concept. I think the idea of having 16... that's why I really liked Sun and Moon. That's why I really liked Alola. I kind of liked how it was different than the regular gym battles that we were so used to. And that you got to go around the whole different islands and fight against, like, the different types of Pokemon. So you have to, like, build a diverse team. I thought that was really cool, but they haven't gone back to that. And obviously with Generation 9 now, I think they're trying to expand the way to play Pokemon, where it's like, it's not just gym battles. I mean, obviously you could, but then there's also like totem Pokemon or like the giant Pokemon or whatever it's called. I forget what they're called. You know what I mean? Like the trials or whatever. You know what I mean? There's other ways to battle or there's other ways to fight or to help Pokemon or to learn about Pokemon. So I think that's pretty exciting. And there's also a rumor about like a regional ground type Charmander. So I think that's, you know, obviously they focus a little too much on Charmander and the Charizard line, but you know, it's Charmander, you know. So I think a ground type Charizard would be pretty cool to see. And with the new design and everything, I think it's pretty cool to imagine what that Pokemon could look like. So we'll have to wait and see if any of this is true. Most likely it's not, but you know, you never know. And it seemed like so definitive, or like they had so much information on it. It could be true, but it's also really early on, so it could just be somebody coming up with like an idea or a concept and then putting it out there and claiming it as fact. So it's like, you know, you can't challenge him on it, but then we're so far away from any Generation 10 news that it's like, no, he's not. He's just making it all up. So you can believe what you want. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys all next time. Yeah.